Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to discuss some topics of chapter number 4, Atomic Structure, from the book A New Approach to ICSE Chemistry, class 9th. And in this video, we are going to discuss the first topic, that is positively charged particles in an atom. As we have discussed in the previous video, how negative cathode rays are produced in the discharge tube, in this topic we are going to discuss how positively charged particles are produced in the discharge tube. For that, let's see a slide. Now you can see a perforated discharge tube made up of glass. This is the glass tube, and it is having a pressure of 0.1 mm of mercury. It is very less pressure, and it is connected with a high voltage battery, and one end is connected to the negative terminal of the battery and another end is connected to the positive terminal of the battery. One of the terminal is positive and one of the terminal is negative. This is around which the circle is encircling. It is one electrode and this one is the second electrode. Now let's see. The discharge tube is having at very low pressure. The left electrode is called the anode, and the right electrode is called the cathode. In our previous video, we have discussed and seen how negative cathode is producing negative rays, and in this we will see the difference between the cathode rays and the positive rays. A slight change has been done in the perforated tube. Here the negative cathode is placed in the center and zinc sulfide screen is not placed in the center of the two electrodes, while this zinc sulfide screen is placed behind the cathode. Earlier in the cathode ray experiment, zinc sulfide was placed in between the anode and cathode, while in today's experiment this zinc sulfide screen is placed beyond cathode. And we know that negative cathode will produce rays which will move towards anode, and they were called cathode rays. It means that some rays are emitted by cathode. Now, the special thing to be observed in this experiment is, as the zinc sulfide screen is placed beyond cathode, it should not get any fluorescence. But the real thing is that the zinc sulfide screen again got fluorescent. This means zinc sulfide screen started glowing. Now the thing to be considered is, zinc sulfide screen is glowing because of certain particles, and those certain particles must be emitted from the anode towards the cathode, and they are passing the cathode and striking on the zinc sulfide screen. This means that certain particles are being emitted from the anode also. This experiment was conducted by the scientist known as Goldstein, and he concluded that anode is also giving some sort of rays, anode is also giving some sort of particles which on striking to the zinc sulfide screen makes it glow, and hence later on these particles were called positively charged particles, and later on these particles were named as protons. Hence, Goldstein performed the same experiment which was conducted by William Crookes in cathode ray experiment, but a little difference was made in the experiment by placing the zinc sulfide screen beyond cathode, and it was observed that scintillations were also produced in zinc sulfide, which means that some positive charged particles are being produced. And these positive charged particles are having some characteristics. So the characteristics of these positive charged particles are that they are always positive in nature, and the amount of positive charge on them varied with the nature of gas in the discharge tube. If the gas is being changed in the discharge tube, the amount of positive charge on these positive particles also gets changed. It means that this positive charge depends upon the nature of gas used in the discharge tube. The second characteristic says the mass of these particles were same as the atomic mass of the gas which was used in the discharge tube. The type of gas used in the discharge tube is considered, and the atomic mass of that gas was same to the mass of the positively charged particles. The third characteristic says that these particles were affected by the electric and magnetic field. Means if an electric field or magnetic field is placed around the discharge tube, these particles get deflected. And it was also seen that among the different gases used in the discharge tube, the positive charged particles formed during the using of hydrogen gas were the lightest. Means that when hydrogen gas was used, the positively charged particles gained its lightest mass. It was having the lightest mass. And later on, these positively charged particles of hydrogen were known as protons. And the characteristics of protons says that the electric charge on a proton is 1.6 into 10 raised power minus 19 coulomb, which is equal to the mass of one atom of hydrogen, that is 1.67 into 10 raised to the power minus 24 grams, or you can also say that it is 1837 times heavier than the mass of one electron. So this was the experiment performed by Goldstein for the discovery of positively charged particles, which were later on called protons. Moving on further, when electrons and protons were discovered, then arrangement of model was given by other scientists. The next model for the atom which we are going to study is Thomson atomic model. By now, the electrons were being discovered and protons were also being discovered. And now these electrons and protons are having some arrangements within the atoms. And first of all, J.J. Thomson was the scientist who gave the arrangements for the protons and electrons in an atom, and he named his model as an apple pie pudding model. According to J.J. Thomson, he believed that an atom is made up of thinly spread positively charged substances in a form of sphere. Means Thomson believed that this atom is in the form of sphere, and in this sphere there are electrons. You can see in the diagram these negatively charged electrons, and Thomson believed that this full atom is made up of positively charged sphere, and to this sphere are embedded electrons into it, and these electrons are embedded in the same way as the apples are embedded in an apple pie custard. Means to say that electrons are not present in the full space present in the sphere. They are present at very few areas inside the spherical mass of which is positively charged. Furthermore, he also stated that the total positive charge of the sphere is equal to the total negative charge of electrons which are present inside the positively charged sphere, and because of which an atom is electrically neutral. But this model was not accepted by his fellow scientists. The reason is he was not able to explain that how positively charged particles are getting shielded from the negatively charged particles without getting neutralized. It means that these positively charged particles should get neutralized by the negatively charged particles. If they are present in such a manner that electrons are present in between the positively charged sphere, then both the charges should be cancelled by each other, but protons means positively sphere still possess positive charge and electrons still possess negative charge without getting neutralized. How they can shield each other, this was thing which was not explained by J.J. Thomson. Hence, this J.J. Thomson apple pie pudding model was not accepted by his fellow scientists. That's all in this video.